Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to continue looking at Extinction's lore, and this time we'll be looking through the eyes of Diana, the first of the Homo Deus. Am I really alive? This doesn't look like any hell I've heard of, and I feel like heaven would have had better groundskeeping. The problem is, I'm pretty sure I died. I remember drawing that monster away from the gateway, a ton of pain and Malin's face looking down at me. I held onto that side as long as I could, until the darkness crept in and I fell into a cold void. The rest of it is kind of fuzzy, but I remember a voice. Help! You have to help! And now I'm here, butt-ass naked, with a familiar chunk of metal stuck in my forearm. Yeah, I'm definitely alive. There's no way this stupid thing would itch so much if I were dead. Guess that means I better make myself some clothes and maybe some kind of ointment. Right before things went crazy, Santiago mentioned something about human cloning chambers over the radio. That's the only explanation for this comeback tour of mine that makes any sense. I'm a clone, so does that mean I'm just a copy of the original? Or is it possible that my consciousness was stored somewhere and then put into a new body? This is so weird, especially since it's never happened to anyone before. We lost plenty of people back on that station, but not one of them ever came back to life. Death was a one-way ticket, period. So why am I the only exception? Is it that voice? Did it do this to me? Okay, that's creepy. The voice just answered me. It said yes. Alright, time to pull the plug on all this soul-searching crap. I'm positive my memories are real, so whether I'm some off-brand clone or not, for the sake of those memories, I'm going to treat this like a second chance. There's no way I'm going to waste it. No way. I've got some basic equipment together now, and I'm based on my surroundings. I'm definitely planet-side. That means if the Gateway project was successful, then Santiago, Helena, and Malin, and the others are somewhere out there. All I have to do is find them. The voice mentioned something about help. If they're in trouble, then I hope they can hang on for a little longer. I'm on my way. I keep feeling these tugs on my mind as I travel, like I'm being led somewhere. Under normal circumstances, I'd start to question my sanity for trusting the guidance of a disembodied voice, but for considering recent events, I think I would be even crazier to ignore it. My creepy unseen benefactor being pretty vague though, when it comes to dealing with these security drones and general survival. I'm on my own, but that's nothing I can't handle. This city's got tons of cover if I need it, and good vantage points for scouting ahead, so shaking off any bogeys shouldn't be a problem. I've got to say though, after all that work we put into escaping that station, it's kind of a drag that this planet isn't any better off. Figures, right? So this is the city's ultimate fate of civilization, huh? A bunch of crumbling, overgrown buildings, crawling with all the insects we left behind. I guess you can't say no one warned us. A lot of people fought real hard to keep something like this from happening, myself included, and it turns out the apocalypse showed up anyway. I always thought we'd stave off it myself. I guess I just believed in us, you know? Humanity, I mean. But even knowing it was going to end up like this, I don't think I would do anything different. Regrets aren't my style. Besides, there's a few of us humans still kicking. Who knows? Some days these buildings could be full again, but until then, I get a spacious corner apartment rent-free. Not too shabby. They were here, no doubt about it. There's scoring from tech weapons all over, and while I can't pin down exactly how old they are, the gaps they burnt in the foliage means they're not ancient. The caliber on some of these are huge though, way bigger than a rifle. Don't tell me Santiago built a frickin' tank! I guess I'll find out soon enough. The tugging on my mind is growing stronger. Something's nearby that the voice wants me to see. Whatever it is, I better take a careful approach. I'm not exactly brimming with firepower, and I don't have May's gift for taming animals, so I'm all alone here. Can't afford any dumb mistakes. You really outdid yourself with this mech, Santiago. Even busted up and slumped against a building, it's one impressive machine, and it looks like you made sure it went down swinging. Would it have been a blast to put it through its paces together, like we did with that mech armor when we first met? It's not right that you died here all alone after everything you did. The Gateway project gave us hope for the future, and you made it possible. Honestly, I'm not sure why the voice would bring me back and not you too. It doesn't seem fair. Now said voice is saying sorry over and over again in my head, so it must have tried. Well, don't worry, mysterious, ethel, whatever you are. One's miracle's enough for both you and Santiago. I'll make it count. bank on it. It took a beating, but with a little more work, I think I can get this beauty running again. It won't take long to get used to the controls either. They were clearly designed so that even someone without a single hour in a simulator could take the wheel on a more basic level. But there's a lot of advanced settings here too. I'll have it dancing like a 50-ton ballerina in no time. It's enough to make a girl giddy. Santiago, if you were here right now, I would kiss you. You certainly deserve more than the grave I made for you, so I'll just have to pay my respects by showing off what your last brainchild can really do. Hope you're watching. Systems online and engines pairing. My mech is going for launch. So whatever did this better watch its ass. Payback's coming. I'm competent enough with a tech armor and a rifle, but if you really want to see my magic happen, put me inside a cockpit. I might specialize in fighters, but I've aced all simulations with just about every vehicle in the URE arsenal. It doesn't matter if it's got wheels, wings or legs. With a machine like this at my fingertips, there's no such thing as impossible. Alright, mystery voice, keep that target locked for me. Reinforcements are en route and you better believe we're bringing the thunder. My timing couldn't have been better. I followed the tugs on my mind until I came across a colossal walking forest bearing down on a lone figure. I'm still not entirely sure what that thing was, but all it is now is the world's biggest salad. As for the survivor, I knew who she was before I even saw the hypnotic tempest in those eyes. Who else stands so tall in the face of death? Who else could call me here from so far away? Who else but you, Lay Malin? Considering I came all the way back from the dead, I probably should have had a better line in my pocket than "Miss me beautiful," but hey, I sure didn't hear her complaining. That May held out for so long might be a better miracle than my second chance at life. When the elation wore off, she practically collapsed in my arms as if her legs could no longer bear the weight she carried. I haven't asked her what happened yet, but I can see that the hell she dragged herself through in the rings beneath her eyes and the bruises on her body, not to mention her damaged mech. Just how many battles has she fought out here all by herself? Well, that ends today. After all she's done, she's earned her rest. It's my turn to take point. May's been getting me caught up while we were repairing her mech. Apparently her friend from the other station, Helena, became delirious after using some kind of artifact to fend off those big monsters. Long story short, that stunt put her in a coma and she ended up dissolving into a beam of light. In other words, they were knee deep in some serious trippy shit. Of course, I was recently resurrected and I hear a voice in my head, so I can't exactly throw stones. It's too bad about Helena. We got along well, even if I only knew her for a short time, and she risked her life to help us back in those caves. Whatever happened to her, I hope she's at peace. I needed to cannibalize some parts from my own machine to get it done, but May's mech is back online. Time to move out, at least if this mysterious voice can be trusted. If you ask May, it shouldn't be. After all she went through with Helena, I get why she'd be cautious when it comes to some unseen prolific entities, but this is the same voice that led me back to her. I can't dismiss it now. I should probably stop calling it a voice though. Thinking about it, it doesn't really make a sound. Its words just appear like they were written in the back of my mind by an invisible hand. What should I use instead though? Does it have a name? Or maybe did it use two? Weird, it doesn't seem to know. We've been travelling together for a couple of days now, and May hasn't let me out of her sight for more than 30 seconds. While it's sweet that she's been so protective, we've had to talk a bit about separating our relationship in and out of combat. See, while any good pilot has to watch their wingman 6, they also have to trust their ability to handle themselves. If she's constantly trying to save me, our mechs are going to end up stomping on each other's toes. I think she's starting to understand that. She didn't like my joke about getting another do-over if I bite it again, though my second coming sponsor wasn't laughing either. Apparently, it's not sure it can replicate my revival. Fine by me. This last shot's all I need. Now that we're fighting in sync, we've been able to handle any threat that this place has thrown our way. Piece of cake. Those big guys though, like the walking forest I took down, or the ones who made these tracks, they might be trouble in a sustained fight. But based on what May's told me, and the hidden systems I've discovered inside this puppy, Santiago had already built the perfect counter for them. Originally, there were 4 of these mechs, and they were designed to fuse together into one giant badass super weapon. With firepower like that, would smoke those lumbering titans in an instant, but unfortunately, 2 of the mechs were abandoned in battle. Too bad, I I would have loved to take it for a spin. I think I can say we're being led. I can't make out all the details yet, but there's a bunch of communication arrays that stand out against the horizon. Could be military, like a command post or major communications relay. Whatever force is guiding us along brought itself a lot of trust by reuniting me with Mei Yin. But now that our destination is within reach, I'm starting to get curious. What does it want us to do when we get there? Are there any other survivors that we can contact with those arrays? For once, I'm not getting a response to my questions. Maybe we're supposed to find out for ourselves. Or maybe we should go in there with our safeties off. Structurally, this building's basically a bunker. The walls look durable enough to withstand a few dozen megatons of force, and they're built to last. That alone told me it was important, but it was nothing compared to the sprawling circular control center we found inside. Rows of consoles cascade out from the middle of the room, and the walls are lined with massive screens. While everything here is wearing a fine coat of dust, I see flashing lights and status reports flowing. This entire facility is still operational, and it's the heart of everything we've been through. The space stations we are on and are all being monitored right here. Guess I know what we're here for now. Better roll up my sleeves. This is going to be a ton of data to sort through. May says Helena called the space stations ARKs and that they were meant to restore life to the planet. That's consistent with what I found here. But there's a problem. The reseed protocol, the final step of the restoration process, is being blocked by what it calls element toxicity rating. Now that I think about it, there's a ton of element veins out there, way more than I remember. It must have spread across the whole planet. Based on these readings, it even infected the lower layers of its crusts. After witnessing what raw element can do to a living thing firsthand, I can see how that be a problem. It looks like the ARKs have some built-in tech to reduce the ETR around them once they made landfall, but right now it's just too high for them to handle. Something's spreading and protecting it to boot. Those big monsters out there, they're the problem, the Titans. These Titans remind me of combat drones. This control center has tracked their general migration patterns, and to my eye, they're almost like troop movements. When they decide to swarm something, they come from all over, like something's commanding them. Not to mention they spread element everywhere they go. So basically, before the reseed protocol can be triggered, the Titans need to be eliminated. Normally, I would be all gung-ho about an impossible mission like that, but the number of Titans we have to take down is nuts. May and I might be a killer power couple, if I do say so myself, but even we'll die of old age before we even made a dent in their population. There must be something we can do, though. I did find a lot of references to a place called Arat Prime, off on the other side of the planet. Looks promising, but well, now that isn't that interesting. Our favourite mystery being seems to think so. Is that where it's leading us? Now that we know what this faceless tour guide in the sky actually wants from us, May and I had a long talk about the next steps. On the other hand, after going through the ringer, it's awfully tempting to settle down and just enjoy the apocalypse together. On the other hand, I've got a resurrection to pay, and keep Earth from dying seems to be kind of important. I do live here after all. Who am I kidding? I was always voting for a dangerous option. As for Mei Yin, I guess she's actually been hearing said guide herself these days, and amazingly, that's all convincing it took. She says she trusts the way it speaks, almost like it's familiar to her. We must be out of our freaking minds to do this, but hey, at least we're going mad together. Things have taken a bit of a turn, or rather we've taken one, in the exact opposite direction of that absurdly huge lizard we spotted. As big as those other Titans are, they're puny compared to this guy, and according to Mei Yin, he packs a punch to match. She would know, she fought it before when it killed all my other friends. While that means I owe him some retribution, it also means we're seriously outgunned. Unfortunately, he keeps following us even when we change course. It's like he's got our scent. He's still a day or two behind us, but eventually he'll catch up. When he does, we need to have an escape plan, because bearing a serious upgrade in firepower? Wait, maybe we have that after all. This is an all or nothing gamble. If we can't repair the two mechs that got left behind the last time this King of Titans came out to play, then we're just going to die where everyone else did. Because if we can get them up and running somehow, then we can fuse all 4 of them and form Sanogo's super weapon. With the damage these mechs have sustained and only 2 parts, it won't be at full capacity, but luckily for us, I'm the top ace in the whole damn URE. As long the engine's running and the guns are loaded, I can give us a chance. Okay, break's over. From here on, we're heading towards that battlefield at full burn. I've been bracing myself for this ever since we set out, but the sight of decaying corpses and shattered equipment was still hard to take. I knew everyone here for years. They were basically my family. Pulling Kasumo out from beneath his mech just about triggered the waterworks. I can't mourn just yet though. There's no time and I don't want to give May any more reasons to blame herself. What happened wasn't her fault. She made the right call. If she'd thrown her life away instead of escaping when she did, when she had the chance, we wouldn't have had a shot at payback at all. So for now, we've got to pull the blinders on and keep each other focused. Shit, it sounds so easy when I write it down. Yes, hell yeah, they actually started. They're still pretty banged up, even with the repairs, but both of the abandoned mechs are operational. Now we've just got to fuse all 4 of them together. We've got time to spare too. Our guest of honor is still a ways off. He's slowly lumbering towards us like it's inevitable that we're going to roll over and die for him. Well, guess what, asshole? The only thing that's gonna roll over here is that nasty looking head of yours. Man, my blood is pumping just thinking about it, but I better rein it in. When that thing gets here, I'm gonna need every ounce of adrenaline I've got. Santiago, you crazy genius. I owe you another kiss. This baby's beautiful. I've never seen a weapon like it. The mechs fuse so completely as if they were never separated at all. And the power of this combined, a mega mech is packing is off the charts. Even though it's only at 70% capacity, it should still be enough to take that Titan down. That sword looks like it could cut a skyscraper in half, and its defensive systems can take a serious beating. The only tricky part is the fact that it needs 4 parts, and we only have 2. The good news is, one of those parts is me. Okay, it's done. I've managed to slide the legs, head, and left arm to my controls. May's better than me at hand-to-hand, so she still will part the sword arm, but anything more than that would overwhelm her with information and technological complexity. In other words, when we enter combat, I'm going to assume 75% of the Megamech systems. It will be a mental and physical strain, but I'm prepared to take it. Like I said, it's my turn to carry the load, and in my wheelhouse here, if there's anyone who can handle this, it's me. Not like there's any time for another plan anyway. The Titan's almost here. Alright, you ugly son of a bitch, let's go. The Titan's initial assault was intense, but we fended off by staying on the defensive. Something that powerful would have been used to winning quickly, so we knew that if we could weather the storm first, it would be sure to hesitate. When that moment came, we turned up the heat. From there on, it was high-octane slugfest. Our clashes felt like they might shatter the ground beneath us, until we finally landed a critical blow on its torso. Based on the way it flailed and hissed when we struck, I don't think it's ever been wounded so badly. So in the end, that was enough to send it packing, nursing the giant bloody X that we carved on its chest. Take that, arsehole, and don't come back. Hopefully that's the last we see of that Titan, because as sweet as some more permanent revenge would be, finding it a second time might be pushing our luck. By the time I exited the cockpit, my nose was bleeding, and hours later, I'm still wobbly on my feet. Controlling 3 mechs at once in a sustained combat scenario should definitely be filed under don't try this at home, and trying to pilot all 4 is probably a fast track to an aneurysm. On top of that, our mega mech is basically held together by bubblegum and dreams at this point. At full power and with 4 parts, it might be able to kill that big bastard, but we're lacking on both fronts. So all told, we did as well as we could have hoped. Think I deserve a victory now. We finished marking the last of the graves a few hours ago. It was hard to say goodbye, but having recently died myself, I know that sitting here and crying my eyes out for a week straight won't help them. Hopefully they find peace within that void, or something better beyond it. Now it's just me, Mei Yin, and the long road ahead. Well, and the faceless presence that's guiding us down the road, of course. I've already started to feel the tugs pulling me towards Arat Prime. Not sure what's waiting for us there, but with May by my side and a dangerous mission in front of us, I'm just going to relax and enjoy the ride. I can admit that I'm certifiable for saying so, but this kind of life, it's just my speed. Mission log First Lieutenant Diana Altaras URE 82 Fighter Squadron and Lee Mayinovi, Beast Queen of the Jungle, the Depths and the Wastes. If you're reading this, then like us, then you managed to break free of the ARKs. So welcome to Earth, kid. Hope you like ravaged hellscapes, because the bad news is you're late to the apocalypse. The good news is you can do something about it. The two of us are going to do what we can to help, but it won't be enough. You see those huge ugly monsters out there? They need to be cleared out or Earth can't recover. Also, if you see one with an X-shaped scar on its chest, do me a favour and flip it off before you finish it. We'll do our part, the rest is up to you. Good luck. And that brings us to the end of today's video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this video helped you out in learning a lot more about the ARK lore, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.